Episode 9 is set to include many different connections to not just the prequels and the originals, but also Star Wars Rebels, the EU, and Legends material as well by writer and director J.J. Abrams and crew. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, I will say that one thing that I'm truly excited to see in this movie is exactly how JJ is going to connect the film not just to the prequels and the originals, but also Star Wars Rebels, one of my favorite Star Wars TV shows ever since even the Clone Wars. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art, and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with the major hint and or indicator of Grand Admiral Thrawn being in Star Wars Episode 9. Specifically, a description of a rear shot of a mysterious figure in a white Admiral uniform, looking out through a window to 3 First Order finalizers. It's described that the figure has black hair and blue skin, and appears to be Grand Admiral Thrawn. The next goes over an obscure front view of the character through the window, using some kind of binoculars and looking out to a First Order fleet. It's described that the Admiral uniform is near exact from Star Wars Rebel and the Thrawn that fans love in the EU. It's described that the character's codename is MRN. So I really want to go over a couple of parts about this and as to why this most definitely is pointing to the character of Grand Admiral Thrawn. Now, first things first, the mention of course, the Admiral uniform, the white Admiral uniform, one of the most iconic pieces of the character of Thrawn, right? Even from the EU and of course in the Disney canon, that's exactly how fans pretty much remember the character, and not just that, also the blue skin. Also in the description here of Grand Admiral Thrawn, or whoever this really is, looking out through the window to a First Order fleet. Now, what's really intriguing to me is, you guys may recall just a couple of days ago that we heard about this big leak that everybody was talking about. It was a big story about Episode 9 having a new threat in, of course, the film that goes up against Kylo Ren and the First Order. Could this very well be Grand Admiral Thrawn and his fleet and or his army that he built throughout the decades in the unknown regions? And what's really strange also that connects the dots here is that the unknown regions will play a role in Episode 9 at some point in time in the second and third act of the movie. So this is where things begin to get very intriguing, right? Now, the next thing that I do want to go over is, of course, how it describes an obscure view of a front view of the character looking out the window to a First Order fleet by use of some of the binoculars, and that in this scenario, he's yet once again wearing the iconic white Admiral uniform that a lot of fans view Grand Admiral Thrawn as, right? Whenever you think about Grand Admiral Thrawn, you think about the white uniform and the blue skin. So I don't think it's pretty much a coincidence here that this character is not only codenamed MRN, which may very well be a reference to his real name of Grand Admiral Thrawn. He does, by the way, have a very complex real name, where MRN is most definitely an abbreviation of that, where also the mysterious figure is in a white Admiral uniform looking out through a window to 3 First Order finalizers. So, the thing is this. Now, we do know that Richard E. Grant actually confirmed not too long ago that he is not playing Grand Admiral Thrawn, and we even got further confirmation on that through the leaked photographs a couple of days ago of the concept art you guys may recall seeing, where Richard E. Grant is just a normal First Order officer, or perhaps maybe more around the lines of a Grand Admiral or, Grand Moff Tarkin type of figure in Star Wars Episode 9. So, with that being said, Grand Admiral Thrawn being in the film, who could really be playing this character if this is indeed the actual character? There's a lot of hints and indicators here that this is indeed Thrawn. The two big giveaways, at least in my opinion, are of course the blue skin and of course the white Admiral uniform, as well as the black hair and the codename being MRN, which is most certainly an abbreviation of Thrawn's real name. So, the thing is this, we do know that this movie has a lot going for it. It's going to have the most characters out of every single Star Wars movie to date, and this is because J.J. Abrams, the central plot of the story, is that the Resistance calls all sides of the entire galaxy to join in on the fight against the First Order, where also the unknown regions is going to play a role in this movie. Now, if you guys examine the very ending of Star Wars Rebels Season 4, it's heavily implied that is exactly where Ezra Bridger and Grand Admiral Thrawn go to, is of course the unknown regions once they enter hyperspace, right? So, with that being said, this movie really is going to bring a lot of things full circle when it comes to the Skywalker saga, and even elements of Star Wars Rebels as well. We do know that JJ wants to make this film an attractive film to all Star Wars fans that are engaged in different mediums of the franchise. We're talking books, novels, video games, comics, you name it, right? Animated TV series. Anybody who likes anything Star Wars is actually going to be attracted to this movie, and that's exactly what Disney and Lucasfilm are aiming to do with Episode 9. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night